because if Jackie Christie snatching up her adult daughter because her adult daughter tried to put her hands on her has y'all shook, baby, you have no idea. Because when I tell you that if any of my children who are now adults ever thought about putting their hands on me, baby, I'm taking them straight to hell. And I mean 6 feet fucking under. And I mean that with my heart.
Yeah, that punch was heard from around the...
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Huh? Yes.
Look at you.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all pay. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just...
Hey y'all, welcome back to All Things Jenny. I'm Jenny. Y'all, have you seen the new episode of Love and Hip Hop with Jackie Christie and her daughter? I was shocked. I was so shocked. The girl was speechless because what is going on? I mean, I get it, right? Honestly, I don't even know whose sides to take. I love Jackie, but she's also very problematic. But as someone, as her daughter, I don't think it's right that you would basically going back and forth with your mom like this on television. Why can't we just go to therapy? I think at this point, people need to stop putting all of their life on social media and or on TV for a check, because look at this. The whole relationship of a mother and daughter now has been plastered online for people to have think pieces about, just because they cannot come together and have a conversation. And I get it, Jackie and Doug, they're a very interesting couple. They're a very interesting couple, and it gives very much...
Pause. First of all, baby, if I was to talk to my mother like that, I would get the dog poop slapped out of me. And for all y'all that's going to say respect is a two-way street, baby, when it comes to your mother, it say honor thy mother and thy father. That's in the Bible, honey. And I'm not saying that you should allow your mother to treat you wrong, but 2 wrongs don't make a right. 2 wrongs don't make a left. She is out of pocket, okay? And baby, my lips would have been on the ground. But see, this is the problem when you grow up with your friend, your child, and you want your child to be your friend, and you don't parent them the correct type of way. And when you 15, 16, ain't no, your parent ain't bullying you. They trying to tell you what's right from wrong, and we just too dumb and naive to understand it. Ooh. Okay. Baby, this episode of Basketball Wives has me in a frenzy. I'm sorry. Like, baby, if Chantel was my daughter, we'd have been rumbling. I'm sorry. You're not going to come at me that way and not expect to get your face knocked off. You coming at me like I'm going to be on the street, I'm going to treat you like you want to, and we going to rumble. You won't get on TV and disrespect me like that. That was totally out of pocket. Feel how you feel, say how you say what you say. She came in the door with her defenses up, and I get it. You're upset. But baby, all that cussing and fussing and when I tell you, baby, if Chantel Christie was mine, it would have been the lines on the TV, they'd have cut to commercial break, because baby, I'd have wailed on her so she wouldn't be able to get up and open her eyes, because they'd be black. I'm so sorry. I don't play those games. You're not going to disrespect me. We watched Chantel grow up on this show. You had a good life. Granted, your mother may not have been the best mother that you want her to be, or talk to you, or been there for you. But baby girl, you don't bring me on TV to do it. I'm sorry. And I feel like Jackie walks away from the conversations because she don't want this on TV. And I don't blame her. I would not either. I would not. But that right there, baby Chantel, baby, you'd have been picking up all 32 of your teeth off the ground. And you a mother. You're going to have to, 1 thing's for certain, 2 things for sure. You're going to reap what you sow. Okay? And when your kids turn around and do you like that, don't say nothing. Because you ain't going to sit up here and live on this good green earth and you not reap what you sow, baby. I'm so sorry. You're going to reap it. It's going to be one way or another. Your kid's going to disappoint you like you have disappointed your mother. And you better believe that. Mark my words. Come back 20 years from now and find me, Lolly J, and say, baby, you was right. Because your kid's going to take you through something. And then you're going to sit there and realize that your mama wasn't as bad as you thought she was when you have to discipline yours.
So we all agree that Chantel has been antagonizing Jackie this entire season, which was heard from around the globe. Now, if you haven't been watching Basketball Wives this season, what are you doing? It airs on VH1, but I actually watch it on Philo. I'm going to tag both the pages below so you can watch it yourself. Now, throughout the entire season, everybody kind of thought the storyline was going to be Evelyn and Jen. It turns out it was actually Chantel and Jackie. Now, in the scene, the girls are actually in Hawaii and they're doing like their retreat. You know, they do their retreat every year. And after they go ATVing, and they do some other excursions, the girls finally sit down for dinner. And that's kind of why you see Chantel in this cocktail dress. Because after dinner, she then made her way to Jackie's room. And after they got into a disagreement, well, then you could see Jackie punching her straight in the face. But I'm not the only person with the sentiment online. Somebody by the name of Janice getting on here and seeing that we are all on the same page about Chantel, which is true. Somebody else by the name of Grace said, please don't redo her contract. Now remember, this does not take away that Jackie is a terrible mother, but at the same time though too, a lot of the scenes set up between Chantel and Jackie, Chantel was the aggressor every time. It was almost as though she was trying to provoke her mother, and she was also trying to share a little bit of tea like that the rest of us didn't know, because oftentimes Chantel antagonizes Jackie about Doug, which happens to be Chantel's father. And in a few scenes, Chantel is heard saying, he don't love you, he don't love you. See, dad's on my side, dad's on my side. People are like, is she having a different conversation with Doug that the rest of us don't know? Maybe that Jackie doesn't know. Like, is Chantel hinting that her and her father have discussed him leaving Jackie? I don't know, but there's a reason as to why Chantel keeps bringing their father into the conversation. Now, episode 12 airs on VH1 or any of the streaming services you use. Again, I use Philo at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to keep you guys posted. We might have to live stream and watch it because I got to hear the talks that the girls are going to have after that big fight.
Jackie Christie from the Basketball Wives has quite the reputation of being like a bad friend, bad mother, pick-me type wife, and her kids have had a lot to say about her, okay? And so Jasmine told me that she got a dark-skinned daughter that don't mess with her. And so this light-skinned daughter apparently doesn't like her as well, okay? And so in this clip, I'm only giving my opinion on what I just witnessed to, okay? Which was a daughter assault her mother, and then her mother fucking her ass up, okay? She has opted to not talk about it, which I think is very mature of her. I am gonna still drag Jackie. She's the adult here in this situation. But her daughter has since shared a statement. I've never dealt with a toxic mother. If you've never dealt with a toxic mother, then you truly have no idea what it feels like. As painful as it's been to watch these moments of my life play out on TV, I know my younger self is proud of the woman who finally stood up for herself. As much shit as I went through with Lynette, y'all would have never saw nothing like that. Everything that I thought about doing, it was a thought. Now, she goes on to say, the daughter, the truth is the dynamic isn't rare. It happens in more families than we like to admit. No, it don't, in white folks' families. Narcissism, jealousy, lies, lack of accountability, gaslighting, abuse, hiding, assault. We're just taught to keep it in the house and suffer in silence. I choose to break that cycle. But you put your hands on your mother first. So what cycle are you breaking? What you witnessed was a masterclass in narcissism. Like, she's talking about herself because, like, obviously you didn't see the clip. You didn't see how disrespectful you were to your mother. I've caught some of the episodes. Jackie protects Doug so much. He's her husband. I mean, she gets jealous even when he has conversations with other women. Like, it's not even funny how much energy she puts into that marriage. If she has that type of maturity when it comes to her marriage, why not have this type of maturity when it comes to your children? As much energy as she puts into protecting her husband from TV headlines, from negative press, from being in situations that will make him look weak or just emotionally unstable or not good to her or unfaithful, why not put that type of energy into your child, into protecting your child, who's still a child mentally? Because the moment she said, call dad, showed her age. Moving on.
Now, Chantel finally speaks after probably watching that tumultuous episode of Basketball Wives. I told you Basketball Wives was going to be so good this season. Now remember on Monday, Chantel and Jackie got into a pretty nasty fight on Monday's episode, and we have recapped that on Monday, so I'm going to tag that video below. And now remember, all of the girls was siding with Chantel until they saw Monday night's episode. And shout out to Ming Lee, because she's actually the first person to come out and apologize to Jackie. Now Ming had posted in her Instagram story and said, Jackie, I'm going to keep it real. After watching last night's episode and thinking about how everything played out in real time, I owe you an apology. Absolutely. If anything I said or did came off offensive, that was never my intention, and I am truly sorry. I was under the impression that you swung first, and that shaped how I saw it, but watching it back, ooh, it hit different. I don't condone violence at all, and it was hard to watch. As a mom, I understand where your emotions are coming from. Anybody in my shoes would have felt the same. She goes on to say that this whole situation reminds me to stay out of family business and focus on my own damn business. She goes on to say, I really do hope that you can heal from this because that was tough to witness. And then she put a sad face emoji. And don't worry, I checked everybody's social medias. Ming Lee was the only one who said something, but she's not the only person who made a statement. This morning, about an hour ago, Chantel actually posted a statement in her IG story. So let's read it together. So she starts off her statement by saying, I'll start by saying, if you've never dealt with a toxic mother, ooh, not her deflecting child. As painful as it's been to watch these moments of my life play on TV, I know my younger self is proud of the woman who finally stood up for herself. By beating your mama? The truth is, the dynamic isn't rare. It happens in more families than we'd like to admit. Narcissism, jealousy, lies, lack of accountability, gaslighting, abuse, hiding, assault, etc. We're just taught to keep it in the house and suffer in silence. I chose to break that cycle. What you witness is a masterclass in narcissism, someone lighting the fire behind the scenes and then walking away so you look like the arsonist. She goes on to say, I know what really happened on and off the camera all season long, so the internet cannot bully me into submission. She goes on to say, y'all know the character. I know the mother. She touched my arm and I pushed her off of me. She swung, plain and simple. It's unfortunate things played out this way, and I wish it never happened. But if you knew our history, then you know that this was a long time coming. I may not be proud of all the choices this season, but I'm not ashamed. This is my real life, and I doubt anyone judges me lives a perfect one. I see the hate mail, I see the judgment, but I'll also see all the messages that say, I've dealt with this too. This reminds me so much of my situation. With all of you with heart and understanding, I see you, and I appreciate your vulnerability. To those of you who've met me with threats and vile statements and extreme judgment, may you never understand my plight. Celebrating my darkest moments says more about you than it ever will about me. I've always been misunderstood, and this chapter of my life is no different, but I will answer to God, not imperfect strangers who've never walked a step in my shoes. I will keep my head up and my peace and focus as I continue to grow as a mother, a wife, and a woman. And then she signs off. And based off of everything we know about Jackie, simply because we've been watching her for 15 years, I kind of actually have to agree with Chantel. Now, was she right for swinging on her? No, neither of them were right for swinging on each other, especially on camera. But y'all know what Jackie be doing. Come on, y'all. Let's be for real. Y'all know what Jackie be doing. But we also know how manipulative Chantel has been this entire season.
Okay, y'all, so I've been looking at all the different takes about the whole Jackie and Chantel situation and what everybody been saying. And I guess I'm just going to look at it in a different way, right? Now, let's play the devil's advocate. Let's just say Jackie actually deserved that, even though she didn't, but let's say she did. Chantel, why aren't you mad at your daddy? Why aren't you mad at Doug, too? Jackie wasn't just gone and left because she was on drugs or something, or, just out thotting and bopping. She was traveling with her man who was going from city to city, who played in the NBA. Why you not mad at your daddy too? Because he could have told her to stay home, and or he could have brought all y'all there with him if that was such a big issue. However, it does make more sense for y'all to have been in a home environment, to be raised up as normal kids. I'm not 100% sure if y'all had stayed with y'all grandma, or if they stayed with their grandma or not. I know that the grandma was involved a lot and was watching them, but it was a more stable environment for you guys to be in home and not on the road with your mom and daddy, you know what I mean? But at the same time, why aren't you mad at your dad too? Because again, he could have told Jackie to either go home and or brought all of y'all. So the same energy, Chantel, that you got for your mama, you need to have that same energy for your dad too. Because he could have stopped it. Regardless if he's an NBA player, he was on the road or whatever the case is, he had the money to do so. He could have got all of y'all. And y'all all just been on the road. Boop, 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 boop. So if you, Chantel, you gonna put that energy into Jackie because she wasn't there and she wasn't being a real mama, then you need to put it on your daddy too because he wasn't being a real daddy. But she don't want to go there. She don't want to go there. So y'all tell me what y'all think. I'm gonna look at the rest of the stuff. I see that Takari then responded. Her and Chantel going back and forth. Brittany then got involved. So I'll read that and I'll bring it to y'all in a minute. But I just wanted to say that, like, Chantel, why you don't have the same energy for your daddy that you do your mama? Because your daddy allowed it. Your mama was there with him. So I'll talk to you in the next video. All right, bye.
Okay, excuse the angles, but I have to try to multitask. But I wanted to come on here and talk about this situation between Jackie and Chantel. I have reviewed a lot of shows over the years. Basketball Wives has never been one of them, and there's reasons for that. But today, I want to talk about Chantel. Chantel is a prime example of this ain't gonna go the way you think it's gonna go. This not about to go the way that you think it's gonna go. And I'm not even talking about the push and then the hit, because she did push first. I ain't even really talking about that. Prior to that, Chantel coming onto Basketball Wives and trying to expose Jackie as being a bad mother would be the equivalent of me going to find old pictures and shows of Monique's and saying, yeah, because you used to be fat. Girl, we already knew that. We already knew that. We already knew that Jackie has not been a good mother. She has been a less than stellar mother. Your sister, your older sister, Chantel, told us that Jackie had not been a good mother. You, once you got out of a little bit out of Jackie's web, you have let us know that Jackie has not really been a good mother. Others around Jackie have come out and exposed her as not being a good person or a good mother. We already knew that. I knew she was a bad mother when you came up on the show letting everybody know that you had went to Orlando's house and washed a few dishes.
His whole persona, his whole everything was never, oh, I have a girlfriend. Like, I've been in this man's house. I done washed a couple dishes. I mean,
And she tried to have you in a beef with Drea, only to become friends with Drea later after dragging you into the beef. We knew she was a bad mother. We already knew that. You didn't have to come on the show to expose her as doing so. If anything, you could have came on the show and showed I am totally different from her. Me and Jackie are not the same. But it's given the same the way you did it. That's why you got to be careful. I see why people say just go no contact with the parents, because in trying to call them out or in trying to show who they are, you gonna get yourself so irritated, you gonna start acting just like them. And Doug ain't never, I know they say never, Doug ain't never leaving the Jackie Christie. I don't know what she got on Doug. I don't know if it's love. I don't know if it's a love spell. I don't know if she got dirt. She not ever leaving Doug Christie. And Doug Christie, I'm sorry, ain't never leaving her. Not gonna happen.
This whole thing with Jackie Christie and her daughter is the definition of, I'm gonna show you that fat meat is greasy. I don't know the background. I don't, all the things. But that being said, she slapped the piss out of that lady. It was like a panel from a comic book, bitch. And I'm just now tipping my toe into shooting reality TV and seeing what it's about. That shit was real. And more importantly, the production of that show should have never brought that young lady on there. I'm sure there was some sort of background and mental health check. Y'all asked some questions. Yeah, it might have been juicy, but Jackie Christie, and I'm not a prolific Basketball Wives watcher, but what I know of Jackie, she don't play about her husband, and she don't play about her time, and she don't play about people playing in her face. Those have been consistent truths for this lady. And I also will say this. You reach that point where you go, when you're the oldest child, and I think this is the oldest one, we do have animosity, and we did experience things our younger siblings didn't experience. We experienced the worst versions of our parents, meaning they were getting their footing, right? And that is fucked up, and it feels fucked up, and also that's life, because people only know what they know when they know it, right? And as the oldest of four, I'll never forget, there was a time that I was arguing with my mama, and my sister that's 3 years younger than me, I think me and Katrina started arguing, and my mama slapped the shit out of me. And I was maybe 17, maybe. And I'm telling that, and I tell that story because, and I am not abusive parents, all those conversations, I'm gonna sit that over here because I don't know, no one said that this is the case with Jackie. So I'm talking about healthy, as normal as possible relationships with parents. I wouldn't even talk to, my mama ain't even here on this earth, and I don't cuss him. I don't feel right cussing in front of her. Or it's some of this shit I be seeing with black folks. I be like, bitch, you shouldn't even did that show with your mama. I wouldn't even have said yes. I wouldn't have even, the check is not worth what happened and what the aftermath will be. I don't think so. And bitch, do y'all, is any of y'all old enough to remember when reality TV started? Any of y'all old enough to remember when Survivor came out? And we was like, what the hell is this? The first season of Big Brother. Like, this shit now is wild. And white parents and white kids, sure. But now we got niggas on here. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Some shit just need to, because the check is not that fabulous. Y'all are already coined. Maybe the daughter isn't. I don't know the details. Because she also talks about Doug like that's not her dad. So is she a child that was born before the marriage? But it feels like Jackie and Doug have been together since the beginning of time. I'm sure the people will tell me in the comments. But yeah, I just was sitting here looking. I'm just like, Jackie slapped the piss out of that girl. Because she pushed her mama. And no shade, real talk, unless it was something egregious, your sister should have whooped your ass. Your mama shouldn't have had to do nothing. I understand it happened on set, but in the real world, y'all get into this Miss Frizzle set though. So many damn bundles in this wig, and I just don't feel like, but whatever, yo.
I can 100% tell that half of y'all were not raised right, because if Jackie Christie snatching up her adult daughter because her adult daughter tried to put her hands on her has y'all shook, baby, you have no idea. Because when I tell you that if any of my children who are now adults ever thought about putting their hands on me, baby, I'm taking them straight to hell. And I mean 6 feet fucking under. And I mean that with my whole fucking chest. See, y'all allow too much bullshit from these fucking kids when they're young, so when they get older, they feel like they can play with you. Never did mine ever fucking feel like they could play with me. Never did they feel like they could put their hands on me. Matter of fact, don't slam my door. Don't walk away from me crazy. Don't mumble under your breath. Don't roll your eyes. Don't even think you gonna fucking disrespect me, because it will not happen. And my second oldest can tell you, as a matter of fact, because I blacked his fucking eye. There is no way. Don't even look like you about to walk my way. And me and him are close as can be, but he will tell you, don't mess with my mama, because they knew. So you have to instill that shit at a young age. And I don't know who has given these children the thought that because that's your parent, they're supposed to take an endless amount of fucking suffering, that they're a fucking punching bag. Not me. Never, never will you ever play those games with me. I'm telling you, parents, y'all better start raising these fucking kids right. And I'm talking about put your foot in their ass, because if they ever feel like they can jump at you, that's a you problem. Because never in fucking hell will mine ever feel like they can jump at me, because I promise you they will be 6 feet under and we will be making funeral arrangements. Absolutely. Right now, today. Y'all better wake up. Good day.
Okay, excuse the angles, but I have to try to multitask. But I wanted to come on here and talk about this situation between Jackie and Chantel. I have reviewed a lot of shows over the years. Basketball Wives has never been one of them, and there's reasons for that. But today, I want to talk about Chantel. Chantel is a prime example of this ain't gonna go the way you think it's gonna go. This not about to go the way that you think it's gonna go. And I'm not even talking about the push and then the hit, because she did push first. I ain't even really talking about that. Prior to that, Chantel coming onto Basketball Wives and trying to expose Jackie as being a bad mother would be the equivalent of me going to find old pictures and shows of Monique's and saying, yeah, because you used to be fat. Girl, we already knew that. We already knew that. We already knew that Jackie has not been a good mother. She has been a less than stellar mother. Your sister, your older sister, Chantel, told us that Jackie had not been a good mother. You, once you got a little bit out of Jackie's web, you have let us know that Jackie has not really been a good mother. Others around Jackie have come out and exposed her as not being a good person or a good mother. We already knew that. I knew she was a bad mother when you came up on the show letting everybody know that you had went to Orlando's house and washed a few dishes.
His whole persona, his whole everything was never, oh, I have a girlfriend. Like, I've been in this man's house. I done washed a couple dishes. I mean,
And she tried to have you in a beef with Drea, only to become friends with Drea later after dragging you into the beef. We knew she was a bad mother. We already knew that. You didn't have to come on the show to expose her as doing so. If anything, you could have came on the show and showed I am totally different from her. Me and Jackie are not the same. But it's given the same the way you did it. That's why you got to be careful. I see why people say just go no contact with the parents, because in trying to call them out or in trying to show who they are, you gonna get yourself so irritated you gonna start acting just like them. And Doug ain't never, I know they say never, Doug ain't never leaving the Jackie Christie. I don't know what she got on Doug. I don't know if it's love. I don't know if it's a love spell. I don't know if she got dirt. She not ever leaving Doug Christie. And Doug Christie, I'm sorry, ain't never leaving her. Not gonna happen.
I have to say, I remember back in the days when the girl was a lot younger, she would come on the show. She was always problematic. Wasn't she dating one of the girls' husband or boyfriend at one point, allegedly? I do remember that being, I stopped watching the show a long time ago, but that right there had me watching the show again. But